Hey everyone, I bet you're here because, like me, you're totally into fitness. Not just as a hobby, but something you really want to, make a part of your life for good.
Exactly. It's a lifestyle.
And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're taking a look at this podcast episode all about preventing burnout. You know how it is, you get so excited about a new workout routine, and then poof, the motivation disappears.
Right. It's about making it sustainable.
Yeah, sustainable, that's the key word. Not just for a few weeks, but for forever. And, the source material really dives deep into this whole idea of burnout, something I'm sure we've all experienced at some point.
Absolutely. Whether it's with fitness or even just life in general, it's so important to understand.
Right. And the episode, it points out these early warning signs, like these little hints that we often miss, that burnout is creeping in.
It's true. So many people ignore them. Burnout rarely just hits you all at once.
Yeah.
It's sneaky, kind of like a slow drain on your energy.
Oh, I like that analogy. A slow drain.
Yeah, in the source material, it breaks down these warning signs into 3 categories: physical, mental, and performance.
Okay, so the physical ones, those seem pretty obvious, like always feeling tired, sore muscles that never quit, and just feeling completely drained. But the mental signs, those seem trickier.
They are. They're much harder to spot.
Like dreading your workout, that's definitely a red flag.
Definitely. Or feeling irritable, lacking motivation. These are signs that burnout is impacting you mentally.
Yeah, for sure. And then there are the performance signs. These seem kind of subtle, right?
They can be. Hitting plateaus in your workouts, struggling to stay consistent, or even not being able to hit the same intensity levels you used to.
Right. The episode specifically mentions slower recovery times and that struggle to stay consistent. Why are those like the big red flags?
Well, our bodies are amazing. They're always adapting.
Yeah.
But if you push too hard without enough rest, they'll start sending signals.
Ah, I see. So slower recovery. Is that like our body waving a white flag?
Exactly. It's not just about feeling tired. It means your muscles aren't getting the chance to properly repair and rebuild.
And that can lead to, more fatigue and even injuries.
Exactly. And then the consistency piece, well, think about it. When you're feeling good, your routine feels easy, even fun.
Right. But when you're running on empty, even the thought of working out feels overwhelming.
Exactly. And that difficulty staying consistent, it's often a sign that you're just plain depleted. Your body's telling you to prioritize recovery.
So we've identified the burnout bandit lurking in the shadows. Now let's shine a light on those sneaky culprits responsible for bringing it on.
Well, the source material highlights 3 main culprits: overtraining, monotony, and those unrealistic goals.
Overtraining seems pretty straightforward. You're doing too much, not enough rest. So the fix is what? Incorporating rest days and active recovery.
Right. Think of rest days as active recovery, not a complete shutdown.
So not just vegging out on the couch.
Nope. Gentle activities like walking, swimming, even foam rolling can help you recover without taxing your body.
Oh, foam rolling. I've heard good things about that.
It's great. It improves blood flow, reduces soreness, and helps you relax.
Okay, now what about monotony? I get how doing the same workout over and over could lead to burnout. Our brains need excitement, right?
Absolutely. Think of it this way. New experiences keep your brain active and engaged, but get stuck in a rut, and your brain goes on autopilot, leading to burnout.
So shake things up. What are some ways to introduce variety without, overhauling your entire routine?
Well, there's cross-training. Not only does it prevent boredom, but it also helps you develop a well-rounded fitness profile. Try things like swimming, cycling, even dance classes.
I love that. You don't even need a huge time commitment. Just swap out 1 or 2 of your regular workouts for something new.
Exactly. Even small changes can make a big difference. You could also play around with the format. If you're always at the gym solo, try a group class or find a workout buddy.
That's a great idea. Social interaction can definitely spice things up.
And let's not forget about the outdoors. Take your workout outside. Hiking, running on the beach, even just a walk in the park can do wonders.
Love it. Okay, and finally, those unrealistic goals. We've all been there, setting the bar so high we're setting ourselves up for disappointment.
It's a common trap, and it often leads to frustration and burnout.
So instead of aiming for a total transformation overnight, what's a more realistic approach?
Small steps. Break those goals down. Instead of, say, aiming to lose 20 pounds in a month, focus on losing 1 to 2 pounds per week.
That makes sense. Start with a 5K and gradually increase the distance over time. Celebrate the small wins.
Exactly. Each small victory reinforces your commitment and keeps you motivated. It's all about creating a positive cycle. So, are you ready to dive into building your own burnout-proof fortress?
Absolutely. Let's get practical.
The source material outlines 8 key steps.
And don't worry, we're not just going to list them off. We're going to dig deep into each one, share some insights, real-world examples, maybe even some personal anecdotes.
Let's make this relatable and actionable. Let's start with the foundation: rest and recovery.
Right. We touched on this earlier with overtraining, but let's go deeper. Rest days aren't just about, being a couch potato. They're crucial for muscle repair, mental rejuvenation, preventing injuries. What's actually happening in our bodies when we rest?
That's when the magic happens. When you rest, your muscles repair those tiny tears from exercise, so they grow stronger. Your energy stores replenish, hormones rebalance, your mind de-stresses. It's like hitting the reset button.
So rest days are like the secret weapon?
In a way, yes. The source even suggests late activities like walking or stretching on recovery days. It's not about being completely still.
So active recovery is key. Why is that so beneficial? How can we fit it into our routines?
Active recovery is like a gentle nudge, encouraging blood flow, reducing stiffness, promoting relaxation. Like cardio, a leisurely walk, or bike ride. Yoga, Pilates, foam rolling.
I've been trying to incorporate stretching throughout the day. Even just a few minutes makes a difference.
Small, consistent efforts add up. And speaking of consistency, that brings us to our next step: balancing intensity and volume.
Finding that sweet spot, right? Challenging ourselves without, burning out. How do we strike that balance?
Listen to your body and adjust. One strategy is alternating high-intensity and low-intensity sessions throughout the week.
So if I do a high-intensity interval training workout on Monday, I should follow it up with a lighter yoga session on Tuesday, not another HIIT workout.
Exactly. You give your body a chance to recover without depleting your energy reserve.
Makes sense. So it's about creating a sustainable rhythm, not constantly pushing to the max.
It's about finding that balance, where you could make progress without burning out.
And speaking of sustainable rhythm, let's talk about setting a realistic schedule. Life can get pretty crazy. How do we design a routine that actually fits into our lives?
Ditch the all-or-nothing thinking. Embrace flexibility and self-compassion. Life happens. Some days you just can't stick to the plan.
Right, and that's okay. So instead of beating ourselves up, we should just try to adapt our routine.
Exactly. It's not about spending hours at the gym. Focus on quality over quantity. If you only have 30 minutes instead of an hour, make those 30 minutes count.
Choose exercises that target multiple muscle groups or do high-intensity intervals.
You got it. Another tip is to prioritize consistency over perfection. Miss a workout. No worries. Just get back on track as soon as you can.
So it's about creating a routine that fits into our lives, not one that adds more stress.
Exactly. Make fitness a sustainable and enjoyable part of your life, not another obligation. Which brings us to reigniting motivation.
Because, let's be honest, we all have those days where the last thing we want to do is work out. How can we get that spark back?
The source material emphasizes having fun. Movement should be enjoyable, not a chore.
Right. It's like that burnout analogy. It steals our joy. If working out starts feeling like punishment, it's time to rediscover those activities that light you up.
Exactly. Tap into that intrinsic motivation. What activities bring you joy and accomplishment? Maybe dance classes, hiking, rock climbing, even just playing a fun sport.
It's like reconnecting with that inner child who just loves to move.
That's it. It's about feeling alive, energized, excited to move your body. And don't forget about setting goals that align with your values and aspirations. Find your why.
Right. The episode talked about that, our why, that deeper purpose. It's like our guiding light when our motivation dips, reminding us why we started in the first place.
Whether it's feeling strong and confident, improving your health, setting a good example, or just the joy of movement, your why can keep you going.
It's about moving beyond those, superficial motivations and tapping into something deeper, something that really resonates with you.
Exactly. And let's not forget about rewarding ourselves. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small.
Oh, for sure. Acknowledging those small wins can make a huge difference. What are some healthy ways to reward ourselves?
It doesn't have to be extravagant. Think a massage, a new workout outfit, a weekend getaway, even just a quiet evening for self-care.
I love it. It's about recognizing our efforts and giving ourselves permission to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Exactly. It's about a positive and sustainable relationship with fitness. Celebrate the journey, Andy the destination.
Okay, we talked about motivation, our why rewards. Now let's talk about keeping things fresh with variety.
This is where we leverage novelty, right? Keeping our minds and bodies stimulated, preventing plateaus.
The source material mentions trying new formats like Pilates, CrossFit, even martial arts, and changing our environment, working out outdoors, joining a gym, maybe trying virtual classes.
It's true. Variety is the spice of life. And of a sustainable fitness routine, too. Trying new things challenges your body, prevents injuries, and keeps your mind engaged.
And you can even get creative with your existing workouts. Runners can try hill sprints, weightlifters can experiment with different reps or new exercises.
Exactly. Endless possibilities, even without a gym or fancy equipment. And don't forget about seasonal activities. Swimming in the summer, skiing in the winter.
Embracing those different types of movement throughout the year, it's fantastic.
It really is. It keeps things interesting.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Let's talk self-compassion. It's often overlooked in the fitness world, but so important, especially for preventing burnout. Why is it crucial? How do we cultivate it?
Self-compassion is all about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend. You're human. You'll have days when you don't meet your goals.
So we need to accept those imperfections.
Exactly. The source encourages us to embrace those imperfections. Consistency is key. We all have days where we miss workouts or don't perform our best.
Which is so important to remember, especially with social media always showing us these images of perfection.
Social media can be misleading. It's often a highlight reel, not reality.
So instead of striving for unattainable perfection, we should focus on progress over perfection.
Absolutely. Celebrate those small wins. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory.
Okay, and speaking of embracing progress, that leads us to adjusting our expectations. Life changes, so we need to be flexible, right? Adapt our routine to our evolving needs.
Let go of the idea that fitness has to look a certain way.
Right. So it's about letting go of those rigid expectations and adapting to what works for us right now.
Exactly. It's a dynamic process, not a static destination. There will be times to prioritize rest, times to push harder, times to adjust goals.
It's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs, and celebrating those small wins.
Absolutely. Every step, every healthy choice, every time you show up for yourself is a victory.
So whether it's a tough workout, a healthy meal, even just stretching or meditating, those efforts deserve recognition.
They absolutely do. Those small wins keep you motivated for the long haul. Now let's shift to the bigger picture. Creating a long-term vision for your fitness journey. We're moving beyond those short-term goals and thinking about how to integrate fitness into our lives for years to come. It's about moving from quick fixes to a lifelong pursuit of fitness.
Creating a lifestyle that supports our well-being, allowing us to thrive.
The source material encourages us to think beyond milestones and physique. It's about a lifestyle that supports health and happiness for years to come.
So it's not just about fitting into a certain size, but about feeling good in your body, feeling energized and confident.
Exactly. Shift your focus from external validation to internal satisfaction. Cultivate appreciation for your body and what it can do.
It's about honoring our bodies, not just as objects, but as vessels that carry us through life.
And part of honoring your body is focusing on the functional benefits of movement.
So we're not just training for aesthetics, but for everyday life.
Exactly. Playing with your kids, carrying groceries, staying independent as you age. It's about training for life.
And life is always changing. So how do we make sure our routine stays relevant as our lives evolve?
Reassess regularly. Make sure your routine still aligns with your needs and interests. As your life changes, your fitness goals and priorities might change too.
So we need to be flexible.
Absolutely. Embrace that. Your fitness journey isn't a straight line. It's a continuous exploration of what feels good and supports your well-being.
Okay, we've covered a lot. Prioritizing rest, balancing intensity, setting realistic goals, finding motivation, variety, self-compassion, adjusting expectations, and now creating a long-term vision. And there's one more step in building that burnout-proof fortress: support systems.
That's where we acknowledge you don't have to do this alone. Community and connection are so important.
The source mentions working out with friends, joining fitness groups, even seeking professional guidance. What are the benefits of these? How do we find the right support for us?
Working out with friends or family can be fun and keeps you accountable.
And joining a fitness group, whether in person or online, gives you a sense of belonging. You connect with people who share your passion.
It's a great way to find support and encouragement. And if you need more personalized guidance, a trainer, coach, or a physical therapist can be amazing.
They can create a custom plan for your needs and goals. offer expert advice on technique, nutrition, injury prevention, and that extra layer of accountability can really help.
They can be a great resource.
So it's about recognizing that we don't have to go it alone, whether it's a friend, a community, or a professional. Having the right support can make all the difference.
We're stronger together.
Absolutely. Okay, before we move on, let's address some common burnout myths that can sabotage our efforts.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. Let's set the record straight.
Myth number 1, more is always better. We've all fallen for that one, thinking that more exercise must be better. But we know that overtraining can actually hold us back.
You're right. It's about working smarter, not harder.
Focus on the quality of your workout, not just the quantity.
Exactly. Maximize the benefits of each workout and allow your body to recover.
Myth busted. Okay, next up, the myth that rest days are lazy days. Ugh, I hate that one. Rest is so important.
I know, right? It's crucial. Rest days allow your body to repair and rebuild. It's when you get stronger and more resilient.
So rest is actually productive.
It is. It's not a sign of weakness. It's essential.
Love it. Okay, last myth. Motivation should be constant. Wouldn't that be nice? But let's be real, motivation comes and goes.
It's true. It's fickle. You can't rely on motivation alone.
So instead of waiting for motivation to strike, what should we do?
Build consistent habits. Create a supportive environment that makes it easier to stay on track, even when you're not feeling it.
So it's about putting systems in place, even when our willpower is low.
Exactly. Make it easier to make healthy choices, even on your tough days.
I love that quote. Motivation gets you started, but habit keeps you going.
It's so true. That's sustainable fitness in a nutshell.
Instead of willpower, we create an environment that supports our goals. Healthy choices become the easy choices.
That's the goal. So, burnout myths. Busted. What do you think about these myths? Which one resonated most with you? Which one have you maybe struggled with?
We're all in this together. Sharing our experiences helps us learn and grow. So think about these myths, how they might be impacting your fitness journey. Are there any beliefs you're ready to let go of? Any new perspectives you're excited to embrace? We're here to support you.
Every step of the way. Welcome back. In the last part, we really got into it, talking about burnout, those sneaky signs that often creep up on us and the things that can lead to it.
Yeah, those culprits. And then we talked about some awesome strategies for building a burnout-proof fortress.
That's right, a fortress. Those habits and mindset shifts that can really make a difference.
Totally. Okay, so now we're shifting gears a bit. We're going to explore the why. Why is preventing burnout so important, for our overall well-being?
Because it's not just about, avoiding a few weeks of feeling blah. It's about setting yourself up for success in the long run, for real progress.
Right, making fitness a part of your life for good.
Yeah.
But it goes even deeper than that, right?
It absolutely does. Preventing burnout isn't just about reaching your fitness goals. It's also about protecting your mental health, rediscovering the joy of movement, and ultimately living a healthier, happier life.
Okay, let's break those down, starting with sustainable progress. So this seems a bit counterintuitive, but taking breaks and actually prioritizing recovery, it can actually lead to more progress in the long run.
It can. Think of it this way. If you're always pushing yourself to the limit without enough rest, you're going to burn out. It's like driving a car without ever stopping for gas or maintenance. Eventually, it's going to break down.
Oof, yeah, that makes sense. So it's not about, grinding ourselves into the ground. It's more about pacing ourselves strategically.
Exactly. By incorporating rest and recovery into our routine, we're allowing our bodies to adapt, rebuild, and come back stronger. We're giving them the time to thrive, not just survive.
Right. It's like that saying, slow and steady wins the race.
Totally. Now let's talk about how burnout impacts our mental health. We always hear that exercise is a mood booster, which it is. But if you overdo it, it can actually become a source of stress, right?
Definitely. Especially if you're constantly beating yourself up for missing a workout or pushing yourself to the point of exhaustion. All that guilt and pressure can really mess with your head.
It can. And that's why those principles we discussed, setting realistic goals, prioritizing rest, and being kind to yourself, they're so important.
Yeah, those things can help us create a more balanced approach to fitness, one that actually supports our mental health instead of adding more stress.
Exactly. Okay, now let's talk about something I'm really passionate about. Finding joy and satisfaction in our fitness journeys.
I love that. Because movement should be something we look forward to. It shouldn't feel like a chore.
I agree. When we focus on preventing burnout, we actually create space for that joy to blossom. We rediscover the pleasure of moving our bodies, trying new activities, and challenging ourselves in ways that feel good.
So it's not about punishing ourselves or pushing ourselves to the point of misery. It's about finding that sweet spot where we're challenged, energized, and, happy.
You got it. It's about reconnecting with that love of movement that we all have inside of us. Like when we were kids, remember running around on the playground, playing tag, climbing trees, had pure joy and freedom.
Oh, yeah. Those were the days.
Exactly. And that's the feeling we want to bring back into our fitness routines as adults. Moving in ways that feel good, exploring activities that light us up, and approaching fitness with a sense of playfulness.
I love that. It's like rediscovering that childlike sense of wonder.
Exactly. And when we find that joy, it can spill over into other areas of our lives too. It's like a positive ripple effect. It can really boost our well-being.
So preventing burnout isn't just about avoiding those negative consequences. It's about creating a positive experience that, makes our lives better.
You got it. It's about creating an approach to movement that supports both our physical and mental health in the long run.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked a lot about physical burnout, but I'm curious, what about mental burnout in other areas of life, like work, relationships, all that stuff?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's something we should all be paying more attention to. While we're focusing on fitness here, burnout can happen anywhere where we're stressed and overwhelmed.
So whether it's our jobs, family, or even our hobbies, we need to be mindful of burnout.
We do. And the interesting thing is that a lot of the principles we've been talking about for preventing burnout in our fitness routines, they can be applied to other areas of our lives too.
So those strategies like setting boundaries, resting, managing expectations, seeking support, they can all be helpful in other areas.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the signs, understanding the causes, and using strategies to create a more balanced lifestyle overall.
That's so helpful. So it's not about tackling burnout in each area separately, but about taking a more holistic approach to our well-being.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our physical, mental, and emotional health are all connected.
That's powerful. Okay, so now let's dive back into fitness and tackle those myths, those pesky myths that can hold us back.
I'm ready to bust some myths. Let's start with a myth that more is always better. This one can really lead to burnout and hinder our progress.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap of thinking, well, if a little exercise is good, then a 10N must be great. But as we discussed, overtraining can actually backfire.
It's true. It's about working smarter, not necessarily harder.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you're challenged but not overwhelmed.
Right. So it's about being mindful of our limits and prioritizing quality over quantity.
Exactly. And that brings us to another myth. Rest days are lazy days. Ugh, this one drives me crazy.
Me too. Rest is essential, not something to be ashamed of.
It is. It's on rest days that our bodies can repair and rebuild, getting stronger and more resilient.
Yeah, it's like you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to refill your cup so you have the energy to, show up in all areas of your life.
That's a great way to put it. Speaking of refilling our cups, let's talk about the myth of constant motivation.
Ah, yes, the myth of constant motivation. We all wish it were true, but let's be real, motivation comes and goes. Some days we're raring to go, and other days we'd rather just chill.
And that's okay. Motivation is like the weather. It's always changing. You can't depend on it to always be there.
So instead of beating ourselves up when we're not feeling motivated, what can we do?
Focus on building those consistent habits. Create an environment that makes it easier to stick to your routine, even when you're not feeling it.
So it's about putting those systems in place, even when our willpower is weak.
Exactly. It's about making healthy choices easier, even on our off days.
I love that saying. Motivation gets you started, but habit keeps you going.
It's so true. That's the key to making fitness a sustainable part of your life.
So instead of relying on willpower alone, we create an environment that supports our goals and makes it easier to make those healthy choices.
You got it.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the final part where we'll talk about all the amazing reasons WHY preventing burnout matters, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these myths. Which one resonates most with you? Which one have you maybe fallen for in the past?
Me too. We're all on this journey together, and talking about our experiences, it can help us learn and grow. So take a moment to reflect on these myths and how they might be showing up in your fitness journey. Are there any beliefs that you're ready to let go of? Any new perspectives that you're ready to embrace? We're here to support you every step of the way.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of preventing burnout and creating a fitness routine that you can actually, stick with.
we've covered a lot, haven't we? From spotting those sneaky burnout signs to busting those myths about fitness. We even talked about how these principles apply to other parts of our lives. It's been a journey, but now it's time to bring it all together, right? And really understand why preventing burnout matters so much. Because it's not just about, like, avoiding feeling bad or frustrated. It's bigger than that.
It really is. It's about reaching a whole new level of well-being. Lives a life that's not just sustainable, but truly, truly fulfilling. The source material talks about 4 key reasons why preventing burnout is so important.
Okay, let's get into those. First up, sustainable progress.
Right. When you focus on preventing burnout, you're building a foundation for consistent long-term progress, not just those quick bursts that fade away.
It's like building a house brick by brick, instead of trying to build a skyscraper in a day.
That's a great analogy. And when you approach fitness that way, you're way less likely to hit those frustrating plateaus and setbacks that can, zap your motivation.
So it's not about quick fixes or those crazy transformations. It's about making small changes that you can actually maintain over time.
Exactly. And that consistency, that's what gets you real, lasting results. Okay, reason number 2. Protecting our mental health.
Right, our mental health. It's so easy to forget that our mental and physical health are totally connected.
They are. When you're physically exhausted, burnt out, it affects your mind too.
Big time. You might feel anxious, irritable, just down, even have trouble focusing.
It's true. And, the opposite is true too. Mental stress can show up physically, like fatigue, muscle tension, problems sleeping.
It's all connected. So by preventing burnout, we're not just taking care of our bodies, but also our minds.
Absolutely. It's about taking a holistic approach to well-being, recognizing that all those parts of us are interconnected and work together.
Okay, on to reason number 3, enhancing joy and satisfaction.
This is a big one. Let's be real. When you're burnt out, it's tough to find joy in anything, especially your workouts.
Yeah, working out can feel like a chore when you're feeling that way, not something you look forward to.
But when you focus on preventing burnout, you create space for that joy to come back.
You start to actually enjoy moving your body, pushing yourself in a healthy way. And that feeling of accomplishment, that feels good too.
Guys, you reconnect with that playfulness, that sense of wonder that we all had as kids. Remember that.
Oh yeah, that pure joy of just moving. I miss that sometimes.
You can bring that back. And that joy, it can spill over into other parts of your life. It's a positive ripple effect,
It's like investing in your overall happiness. So preventing burnout isn't just about avoiding the bad stuff. It's about making our lives better, more joyful.
Exactly. It's about creating a positive relationship with fitness that supports your well-being in the long run.
Okay, last but not least, reason number 4, living a healthier, more fulfilling life.
This is where it all comes together. It's about the big picture.
Right. When you prevent burnout, you're basically investing in your long-term health and happiness.
You're creating a lifestyle that supports you physically, mentally, emotionally. You can show up as your best self in all areas of your life.
It's not just about hitting a specific fitness goal or looking a certain way. It's about creating a life that feels, authentic, a life that reflects your values and dreams.
You got it. It's about feeling good, being full of energy, and going after the things you're passionate about. It's about feeling truly alive.
I love that. It's about living a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, both inside and out.
Absolutely. That's the power of preventing burnout.
Wow, so powerful. It's not just about avoiding the negative, it's about opening the door to so much more.
You have the power to make this happen, to design a fitness routine and a lifestyle that supports you and makes you feel amazing.
It's inspiring. Take what we've learned today and put it into action. What resonates with you? What are you going to try?
Even small changes can make a huge difference in the long run. We believe in you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, taking care of yourself, prioritizing your well-being, it's not selfish, it's essential.
You deserve to live a life that's both healthy and fulfilling. Don't forget that.
We're cheering you on every step of the way.